Are black people victims of racism, white supremacy in 2025? A lot of people say black people and non-white people in general perceive themselves as victims. Recently, I noticed people been using the word victim, and a lot of people have a problem with the word victim. A lot of people say that you should never call yourself a victim of anything, and they have a big problem with that. So academically, there is victimology, the studies of victims. I hear things like, don't invest in being a victim. It's kind of like a put down to yourself of calling yourself a victim. And people say under any circumstances, no matter what the excuse, don't ever call yourself a victim. People say calling yourself a victim is a sign of despair, and you're not trying to solve problems either. You are giving up to whatever is going on, the situation. You're just giving up. That's usually the latest what you hear about being called a victim. But the question is raised, are there victims? Are there things on this planet that have been done to people that shouldn't have been done to them by other people? When looking at racism, do you have victims of racism? Because otherwise, there'll be no such thing as racism. Could racism exist without victims? Racism, basically a person that's being mistreated. A person mistreating another person, when you're talking about people interactions, and you have all sorts of kinds of victims. You have victims of car accidents. You got victims of all sorts of kind of scams out there. People steal things from you. There's a lot of things you can be a victim of. But for the most part, yes, you do have victims of racism, if there is racism, because that's logically speaking. You cannot have racism exist anywhere on the planet if there was not victims of it. Crime, if you look at crime, that's why you have police officers, that's why you have judges, because crime happens and you have victims of crimes. Otherwise, you could not charge anybody with a crime. That's why you have victims of crimes. What would you need a lawyer or even a military for if you didn't have victims? You know, that's why we have law enforcement. You file a complaint because you feel like you are a victim. First time coming to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Smash that like button. Really would appreciate it. Peace.